It's Oa and welcome back to my channel for another bullet journal video. And today is my January 2022 journal setup. I can't believe I'm saying 2022, it's insane. But my theme for January is moon and like the moon cycle. And at the end of the video, you will be able to find the close-ups of the spread, including a bonus, because I made a lunar calendar this year, which I didn't share in my yearly setup. So if you're interested in that, you can find it at the end of the video or at the time on the screen right now. So for this cover page, I used the same technique as I used for my December bullet journal, which is using a Dutch door and having a key element of the theme to be where I kept the door, which for this one is just a string of moon, which is colored in different phases from the full moon to, from a new moon to a full moon on each side. And then you will see me cutting the door. I also used my Pitt artist Faber Castel fine liners to do the circles, and then I used my Tombow dual brush markers to color them. And the white marker that you are seeing now is a white jelly roll from Art and Fly, which is not very pigmented, so unfortunately you can't really see it on camera, but I think in the close-ups at the end of the video you can tell a little bit better. And if you're interested, the Tombow marker that I use is the N15 for the black one, and I used another one which is the N75, sorry. I used it at the end of the video, but if you have them, then you know which one I used. And also a little disclaimer for the quality of this setup. Unfortunately, if you don't know me or you just stumbled across this video, I have a neurological condition which is known as FND, which stands for neurological functional disorder, and it causes paralysis. And at the moment that I'm filming this video and as I was doing this setup, I am in a really bad flare-up. I have paralysis attack every single day for 3 to 5 hours, and it's really hard to recover from them, and it's a lot. So I did this setup and I had a paralysis attack right after, and so I feel like I could have done a better job, especially with circles. It's kind of hard to do. So just be mindful of that as you're watching this video. I did my best, but I can do as much as I wanted. But what you're watching now is me doing the other side of the Dutch door. I did like a mirror effect and did the exact same thing on the opposite side, just so it would tie everything together. And then this is my calendar spread, so I just added my giant calendar, which is 3 by 3 centimeters for each little box, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is 6 by 6 squares in the bullet journal, which I don't think I mentioned, but I am using a dingbat notebook from the Hoaslife collection. So that's, if you're interested, all the links of all of the products that I use are linked in the description box down below. But it's one of my favorite brands to work with when it comes to doing my own journals. And also, I am working on a project right now. I may be commissioned to do custom bullet journal, so maybe you will be able to see that a little bit later in the year. I got a call from someone who saw the one that I did this summer, and we may be working together to make multiples, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. I'm gonna obviously give news about that. But back to the setup, I did a 1 square box colored in black, and as you can see now, I use my white gel pen to mark the base. I'm sorry it doesn't show up on camera, but you will be able to tell later. And then at the top I just wrote January with a circle of moons. And then we are already on to the next spread, which is my habit tracker and migraine tracker. As I said, I have a neurological condition. I also have migraines, chronic migraine. So I track in my habits a couple, and then I have mostly just if I took my meds or not. That's mostly how I use this spread. And in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken in my planner, I will do a complete video on how I use all of my bullet journal and like sharing with you how I use it like on a more daily basis. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. But basically what I do is just write a list of my meds, and then I check whether or not I took them. And for the migraine tracker, I have the numbers on the side from 0 to 10, and then I just check or put a cross on the right line depending on what day and the intensity of the migraine. And then at the top I just have the 2 headers, and one more time, you can't see it on camera, I thought it would show up, but on the black line I just wrote tracker each time. And now we are on to the fun part, which is the same thing I did for the December setup, and it's the symptoms tracker, and I did a wheel as well, which actually is pretty useful, more than using just in the habit tracker, because I can have a scale, which you will be able to see later, but at the bottom I just have a scale from 1 to 5. So it's how bad the symptoms was, and I have the space for 8, I think. I did a 1 less because of the new one for December. And as you can see, there's one line where there's not a number around, and that's just because I forgot the 22. So yeah, I will have to correct that later, but I just made a little mistake counting. But basically how I do it is I go for like symptom 1, I see how bad it was, and then I just color that in, and I do gray if I don't have any. And then I just have at the bottom a key which just has the numbers, and I just fill in with what symptom I want to track for each number. And then I just have a green symptoms tracker at the bottom, at the top, sorry. And yeah, that's basically it for the spread. I just have a moon circle at the center of the spread, and that's it. And now moving on to the mood tracker, which if you already saw my custom bullet journal setup for August that I did for someone, I did the exact same layout because I was in love with it, even though the theme was astrology and not moon. But I basically drew 31 circles, which was a nightmare. You can't tell that much on camera, but if you see the close-ups, it's very obvious. Not one of those circles is round, because my hand was shaking so much trying to do those that it was a nightmare. Also, I was using my Uniball eye micro liners. They're super cool, I love them, and they gave me a little bit more stability, but honestly nothing was able to make it like acceptable. So I just have the 31 circles, which, fun fact, is a nightmare to make as a spread, because you have to fit 31 circles and the key, and that takes a lot of space. So it was a lot of trial and error to figure out how to lay out this. And then for the key, basically I did a new moon for happy, and then progressively it gets more dark. And the full moon is for it's actually the opposite. Like the light is for good and the dark is for bad, basically. And then at the top I have mood tracker written, and tracker is in the black. I thought it would show up, I don't know why. I'm kind of upset about this now. But yeah, it looks pretty fancy in real life. So I hope it will look good also. But yeah, you can see the key being filled out, and it looks really cool. I actually like it a lot. And I think it's going to be very visual for me to be able to fill in a lot more. And then the next spread is my sleep and water tracker on each side of this spread. The first one is the sleep tracker, which is the same one that I use every single month. It took me well over a year to find what sleep tracker was working for me, but now that I found it, it's perfect and I love it. Also, I'm so sorry if you can hear. I have my dog with me, and she's really whining right now, so I hope you can't hear her. But she's a little upset, and she's in my room while I'm filming this voiceover. But basically what I do for the sleep tracker is on the vertical line, I have all the numbers from 1 to 31 for each days. So one line equals 1 day, and then on the horizontal line, I have the numbers from 17 all the way to 16, which is the hours. I do it in a 24-hour way and not a 12-hour way. That's more visual for me. But basically, I just fill in from what to what I slept. And I have a complete 24 hours because as someone with a chronic illness, I tend to sleep a lot. So it's better for me to be able to also write all my naps so that I can have a more accurate representation of how much I actually sleep. And now we are onto the water tracker, which is the exact same layout. So on the vertical line I have the days, and on the horizontal I have 2 squares in between each little thing. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's written from 1 cup to 1 cup with 2 squares separating each one, so that I can have half cups. And it's basically just how much I can drink from 1 to 13. And if someone says that 13 cups is too much and I will never drink it, you can know that I already drank more than that. Yeah, that's on being chronically ill. But I just did the moons on the side of the header, which I think looks pretty cool. I did it rounded, going down on the sleep tracker, and I did it straight on a line, going from bigger to smaller. And I really think it looks super cute. I'm really glad I did it. But yeah, that's basically like the first spread. And then the next 2 ones are an anxiety tracker. I'm someone with anxiety, and normally I don't actually record me doing it. I usually just do it off camera, but this time I decided to include it in this setup. And I use it exactly as the water tracker, and I just have a scale from 0 to 10, using each time 2 squares in between so that I can have a half mark on the scale. And then I just go from the line of the day until the point of how anxious I am. And I have a little column on the side for if I have any reason to be anxious. And then I did the little moons as I did with the sleep tracker on the side. of the header, which just says anxiety tracker. And then the last spread of this entire setup is a high and lows of the day. The first time that I did it was for December. I tried to implement gratitude or any kind of stuff like that in my routine, and I found that this way is what works the best for me. So basically I have the same thing, the numbers going down the side of the spread, and then I separated the page into two, which is one for the high, one for the low. The low is in the black line, written in white, but otherwise you can't really tell. And then I just used a gray marker, which is the one that I talked about earlier in this video, and I just did for the high, I think I did all the impair numbers, so like 3, 5 and all that, and on the low side I did all the pair numbers, so 2, 6 and all of those, 2, 4, 6 actually. But there's not actually the end of this clip because my camera ran out of battery and I didn't realize it until it was too late. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. There's only the close-ups left, so if you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through, and I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the close-ups. Bye!
What a feeling, now it's time for